Over the last few months, I've really wanted to branch out of my shell as a Pokemon speedrunner and dive into the realm of Pokemon challenge runs. One challenge that is really popular in a lot of games is a no damage playthrough. A damageless run is a run that requires a high level of skill, and for Pokemon, that skill is a lot more mental than it is mechanical. One of my favorite parts of speedrunning is coming up with new routing ideas, and this challenge seemed like a more intense version of that. In order to guarantee that we take no damage, we have to come up with some really interesting and intricate strategies. Before we get into it, let's go over the rules of the challenge. Rule number 1, no taking damage. This rule covers all damage, including status ailments and self-inflicted damage like recoil and substitute. If at any point my Pokemon are not at full health, I'd be forced to reset. Speaking of resetting, rule number 2 is that progress will be saved after each gym leader battle. This checkpoint system allows for us to reset only a small part of the run rather than the entire thing when something will inevitably go wrong. The third and final rule, no 2-on-1 battles. Let's Go has a mechanic where at any time you can summon a support trainer to help you catch Pokemon and battle other trainers. When you battle a trainer, it becomes a 2-on-1 battle in your favor. This seemed a little against the spirit of the challenge, so I opted not to allow for it. However, I'd be happy to try this challenge again without the rule if people are interested. Even though 2-controller battles aren't allowed, I will be using 2-controller catches. When the support trainer is used on a wild Pokemon, you can throw a ball as both players, and if they hit the Pokemon at the same time, you get nearly 2 times the normal experience. I consider this a way to speed up the challenge rather than make it easier, so it remained allowed. With all that out of the way, let's go ahead and start the run. We load up the game and get our starter Pikachu and head off to Viridian City. Since the main focus of Pokemon Let's Go was on catching as many Pokemon as possible, the early game story is actually flipped from the originals, so you're given the Pokedex and Pokeballs immediately, and then fight your rival later. This is really good since it lets us level up our starter a little bit before the first battle. The starters in Let's Go are guaranteed to have perfect stats, and actually have boosted base stats over normal Pikachus and Eevees. Even with these stats, however, it wouldn't be favorable to go into the rival battle expecting no damage without at least a little bit of grinding. Grinding in Let's Go is a bit different than normal Pokemon games. There are no wild battles, and instead, the only ways to gain experience are by fighting other trainers or by catching wild Pokemon. Trainers are slow and pretty bad in terms of experience yield, so all of our grinding will be catching wild Pokemon. Catches are also very safe, as there's no actual battle, so I can't unexpectedly take damage. There's also a gym requirement later on that forces us to catch 50 Pokemon, so we're going to have to be catching a lot of stuff anyways. Looking back at the task at hand, Pikachu learns the fighting move Double Kick at level 9, so once we get there, we can challenge our rival. While grinding, we make sure to catch an Oddish to satisfy the gym requirement in Pewter City. Once we hit level 9, we head back to Pallet Town. Rival's Eevee puts up a good fight in response to our Double Kick by fainting. One battle down and a bunch more to go. After stomping our rival, we breeze through Route 1 in Viridian Forest, snagging a few bugs for some easy catches. We then come across this trainer named Bugcatcher Sammy. Bugcatcher Sammy has a lonesome Metapod whose only move is Harden, so he's a pushover. Wait, did I say Harden? I meant his only move is Tackle, so he's actually terrifying. This Metapod is just bulky enough that we need a Pidgey at level 10, 7 whole levels higher in order to guarantee the KO. After the forest, our next major hurdle is going to be the first gym leader, Brock. Brock has 2 rock ground types, Geodude and Onix, both with very mediocre special defense, so we can easily take them out with our Oddish. His Onix is surprisingly fast with 21 speed at level 12, so we do a bit more grinding, make sure Oddish outspeeds, and then it's an easy 2-turn fight. After a little over half an hour, we've got our first badge and reached our first checkpoint. Next, we head to the mart, ignoring all healing items since why would we need them, and stock up on as many Pokeballs as we can buy for grinding. We dive into Mount Moon and begin our first real routing pause to figure out how we're going to deal with the final fight in the cave, Jesse and James. Team Rocket's Jesse and James are a double battle, meaning I'll have 2 Pokemon against their 2 Pokemon at the same time. Spread moves, or moves that hit both opponents, are pretty hard to come by, especially this early in the game. So the goal here is to come up with a duo of Pokemon that will each take out one of their Pokemon, Coughing and Ekans. After a bit of discussion and a heck of a lot of math, we determined that Pikachu with Thunderbolt, which it learns at level 21, can KO the Coughing, and Butterfree with Psybeam, which for some reason it learns at level 16, can KO the Ekans. With our plan in place, we grind some Geodudes, take out the few mandatory trainers in our way, have a mini panic when we come across a trainer that we completely forgot existed. I didn't think about this fight at all. I completely forgot this fight existed. Double kick has to kill, right? There's no way this doesn't kill. That was actually way closer than it needed to be. That would have been so sad. And step into the battle. The plan goes perfectly, and just like that, we make it to Cerulean City. Cerulean City is our first chance to choose which path we take. We can either fight Misty first or head up Nugget Bridge to Bill first. We also gain access to Pikachu's move tutor move, Zippy Zap. As ridiculous as its name is, Zippy Zap is incredibly useful for our run. It's a 50 base power move that always lands a critical hit and has +2 priority. Moves in Pokemon are broken into priority brackets, where the higher your bracket, the earlier the move will be used. Most moves are 0 priority, and a move like Quick Attack is +1, which is why it almost always goes first. Zippy Zap is +2, meaning that it'll always go even before Quick Attack, so you can see why it'll be very useful. Misty was super easy with the leveling we had already done, so we took out the gym first, making sure to Zippy Zap the Goldeen since it knows Quick Attack, another gym down, and another opportunity to save the game. Looking at the fights on Nugget Bridge, everything seemed like a pushover, except this trainer has the most terrifying Pokemon that we could come across right now. It's Mew! Just kidding, it's Meowth. Meowth has Fake Out, which is a +3 priority move that can only be selected on the first turn of battle. +3 priority means it's faster than Zippy Zap, so we can't take it out as Pikachu. I did a bit of research, and as far as I could tell, the only ways to guarantee no damage against Fake Out in Let's Go is to have a Pokemon with Protect, which will block the damage, or a faster Fake Out, which will cause the opponent to flinch. Scouring the list of Pokemon available to us, we determined that Sandshrew, leveled up to level 24 and taught Protect, was the only way through the fight. Sandshrew is exclusive to Let's Go Pikachu, so that explains why we chose the Pikachu version over Eevee. I may have missed something, but if anyone sees a different way through this fight in Let's Go Eevee, without risking the 50-50 Fake Out, I'd be curious to hear it. Now that we have our plan to take on Nugget Bridge, we grind for a bit and then head up toward the gauntlet of fights. We make sure to Zippy Zap our rivals Pidgey and Eevee, who both have Quick Attack, beat up the other kids on the bridge, and get to the Meowth trainer. We lead the fight with Protect, blocking the Fake Out, and then Dig to guarantee the KO. We finish off Nugget Bridge, save Bill, fight the Rocket for Dig since it was an easy KO with Zippy Zap, and make our way down to Vermilion City. Vermilion City only has 2 mandatory trainers, your rival on the SSN and the gym leader Lieutenant Surge, who you can actually skip and do way later, but I wanted to do now anyway. Rival should be pretty easy as long as we check our damage, because we can Zippy Zap the Pidgeotto and Eevee to avoid Quick Attack and use Butterfree Psybeam against the Oddish. Now that we have the Chop Down technique, we can continue on to the gym. Looking at Surge's team, the Voltorb and Magnemite are pretty straightforward. The Raichu has Quick Attack, but it resists Zippy Zap, meaning we need to be at a pretty high level to take it out. In fact, pretty much everything at this point with a priority move would have to be around level 40 or 50 to KO, but maybe that wouldn't be necessary. Most modern Pokemon games have a few different kinds of trainer AI. The 2 most common types are Random AI and Smart AI. Random AI is what most standard trainers will have, and as the name suggests, they just pick random moves. Smart AI is what most story progress trainers, like gym leaders and rocket bosses, have. And while there's a bit more to it, their move choice generally boils down to always use the move that deals the most damage. One exception to this is that a priority move like Quick Attack can be used, even if it's less damage, if it will KO your Pokemon. This means that while the Raichu has Quick Attack, it should only use it if it thinks it can KO, or if it thinks it does the most damage. Running the damage calc against Pikachu shows that Double Kick does the most, followed by Thunderbolt, which has an overlapping damage range with Quick Attack. Raichu should use Double Kick. However, I was skeptical, and I'm glad I was. Double Kick is an odd move in that it is a 30 base power move that hits twice, so it's effectively 60 base power. I was worried that the AI, when determining what move dealt the most damage, would only use 30 power. If the game assumes it's only 30 power, then when calculating against Pikachu, Double Kick would be seen as doing way less damage, and Quick Attack could be chosen. We decided that the safest option would be to use a different Pokemon that didn't resist electric moves, so Thunderbolt would do the most damage. We teach Dig to Eradicate, grind a bit on Route 11, and start the battle. Moment of truth. Do we get Quick Attack or no? No! Yes! Let's go. And there we have it. 3 badges down. Since I used Dig on Raichu, we can see what move Surge had picked, which was Thunderbolt. Running a damage calc in hindsight, it turns out that Double Kick with 2 hits usually deals more damage than Thunderbolt, so it's possible that only 30 power was used by the AI. If we had used Pikachu, there could have been a small chance of Quick Attack, and we could have taken our first damage of the run. Moving on past Surge, we backtrack to Cerulean City and head east toward Rock Tunnel. We use super effective moves on everything with our very overleveled team, except we Zippy Zap the 2 Raticates to avoid Quick Attack. After getting ambushed by Team Rocket for some reason and enviously watching them get stepped on by Lorelei, we enter Rock Tunnel and begin our search for the very rare encounter, Kangaskhan. Kangaskhan is a 1% encounter, so we strap ourselves in for a long search. Oh, there it is. Kangaskhan is a very necessary catch because there are not 1 but 2 Fake Out users here in Rock Tunnel. The first one is another Kangaskhan, which we take out with our own Fake Out turn 1, followed by Brick Break that we got from the coach trainer outside. The second Fake Out is on the final trainer in Rock Tunnel. This trainer has a different legendary M Pokemon, Mewtwo. Actually, it's Meowth again. This Meowth is another annoyance since in addition to Fake Out, the only other move it has is Feint, which is +2 priority. Even if we block the Fake Out, we would need a +2 priority move like Zippy Zap to make sure we don't take any damage. However, none of our Pokemon can both block Fake Out and have a high enough priority move. Luckily, Kangaskhan is a normal type, meaning its normal moves are 50% stronger, so we just level up a bit and obliterate the Meowth in one turn with our own Fake Out. Leaving Rock Tunnel, I was supposed to go fight our rival in Pokemon Tower, but I kinda wanted to stop streaming for the day, so I rushed over to Celadon City to fight Erica for the checkpoint. We grinded our Butterfree outside Celadon until Psychic, which we got from some random guy in Saffron, would one-shot Erica's Vileplume. 4 gyms down in under 5 hours. I didn't want to get ahead of myself, but at this point, I was starting to see the real possibility of finishing this challenge with 0 resets. I'd been playing pretty safe, and I didn't foresee anything being really RNG based as long as we calced stuff ahead of time, so I was pretty confident going into day 2. We start the day off by doing a bit of grinding and immediately walk in front of some random trainer that I knew nothing about. I don't know what this guy has. All right, Leslie has a Magnemite. I have absolutely the wrong Pokemon out. Oh, thank God. That was close. We continue back to Lavender Town and take on our rival again. Same strategy as before, except now his Eevee has evolved into a Jolteon, so we use Raticate since we're in the same situation that we were against Surge's Raichu. Back in Celadon City, we head to the department store to get the Protect TM and we venture into Rocket Hideout. Earlier on, I caught a Diglett near Vermilion City, which I traded for an Alolan Diglett in Lavender Town, and she was going to be the star of this section. After a couple of fights with our usual team, we switch to Dugtrio with its lavish hair and start earthquaking everything. After a few fights, we commit some OSHA violations by standing on a rolly chair and have our little daredevil Pikachu obtain the lift key. We then get ourselves ready for the 3-fight gauntlet at the end of Hideout. First up is Jesse and James, who have upgraded to a Weezing and Arbok. Abilities don't exist in Let's Go, so we can hit the Weezing with our super effective ground moves. Dugtrio's Earthquake is a spread move, meaning it hits both targets in a double battle. However, it'll also hit our partner, so we had to be strategic. We put Butterfree next to Dugtrio since it's a flying type that's immune to ground, and also has Psychic to deal just a little bit more damage when we don't KO the Weezing. Next up is Archer, who has a Weezing and a Golbat. Weezing goes down to an Earthquake, but Golbat is a problem for Dugtrio. It gets nothing for flying types, so we finish it off with Butterfree's Psychic instead. Finally, we reach Giovanni with his Persian and Rhyhorn. Rhyhorn will go down to a Mega Drain from Gloom, but Persian is another beast. Persian has Fake Out, which Pikachu can use Protect to block, but they also have Feint. If you remember, Feint has +2 priority, which Zippy Zap can outspeed. But Feint's secondary effect is that it hits through Protect, which is our plan to stop Fake Out on turn 1. I've speedrun this game for over 3 years, and I don't know that I've ever seen Feint on this fight, so I figured this would be a reasonable risk to take. Protect to block Fake Out, Zippy Zap to KO the Persian, and Mega Drain for Rhyhorn. With the Sylph Scope in hand, we climb Pokemon Tower in Lavender Town, Zippy Zapping both Haunters since they have Sucker Punch, and get hit right in the feels with this awful cutscene. This is so sad. I don't even want to watch it. Jesse and James are at the top, with basically the same team as last time, so we employ the same strategy and save Mr. Fuji to get the Pokeflute. Now that we have a way past Snorlax, we head down Pokemon Road and get to Fuchsia City to face Koga. Alolan Dugtrio should be able to take out the one trainer in the gym and half of Koga's team, while Butterfree Psychic could take out the Golbat and the physically bulky Weezing. Koga's Weezing goes down, and then... I took damage. It's faster. Oh my God! Oh. That was so lucky. I didn't realize that Butterfree was slower than Golbat with our level advantage. We don't know the exact odds of this, but when a Pokemon's friendship is high, it has a chance of shaking off status ailments. If Butterfree didn't shake it off right then, we would have taken our first damage. Dugtrio comes in to finish the fight, and... it's a traded Pokemon, and I don't have Obedience. I did not even consider that would be an issue. Oh. Since Dugtrio is a trade, meaning I'm not its original trainer, it has the chance of disobeying if we overlevel it. Right before the muck, Dugtrio hit level 51, getting above the level 50 threshold that we have with our badges, and decided to turn away instead of attacking. Our first damage, and it sets us back over 2 hours. Using the reset as a chance to reflect, we realized that Kadabra was going to be a far superior Psychic user, since it gains the same type attack bonus and is far stronger and faster than Butterfree anyway. so on round 2 we just use the Kadabra. Koga decides to respond this time by dying repeatedly and gives us our 5th badge. Looking at what we have left, we still need to do Silphco and Sabrina, Mansion and Blaine, Giovanni, Victory Road, and finally the Elite Four. Mansion and Blaine seem pretty straightforward, so we grind up our Dugtrio, making sure not to overlevel this time, and take out the lonely scientist in the mansion. Blaine has a couple of quick attack Pokemon, but since our Dugtrio is weak to fire, they'll never go for it. Silphco is next, and we start off by beating Blue with our Butterfree and Pikachu. Next up is Archer, and this is the fight I've been worried about since before I even started the playthrough. Archer 2 is a team-up battle with our rival, meaning it's a double battle where we only control one Pokemon. Dugtrio has the spread move Earthquake, which should make the fight a bit easier, but we'll have to use the 90% accurate Rock Slide, which we got from the coach trainer in Mansion, to KO the Golbat. Next glaring issue is that the Raticate only has priority moves, meaning I can't Earthquake it. Luckily, Muck has a nasty case of All My Friends Are Dead syndrome and can't actually touch our Dugtrio since Steel is immune to the move Toxic. This means I can KO all of Archer's Pokemon first, and then focus on the Grunt, sucker punching the Raticate. Since I need to leave Muck alive, I'll have to use Dig instead of Earthquake as it's a single target move. Dig is a 2-turn move, meaning Electrode could self-destruct while I'm underground, but the AI will prefer switching in Weezing over Golbat since Flamethrower is its best move against us. All we need now is for our rival to cooperate and... Okay. Self-destruct, that's fine. Toxic. Alright, listen, Muck. You gotta protect here. Yeah. No, the Weezing used Protect. Oh, wait, the Muck did too. Okay, no, that's fine. I don't know. This is all going horribly. Okay. Okay. I have to go for Sucker Punch into the Raticate, because if I don't, this is a 50-50 gamble. Like, I need to gamble either Raticate doesn't target me or that this doesn't target me. Oh, dude, Air Slash Flinch would have been so clutch. Cubone decided to be proactive and KO the Muck for us, leading to a 50-50 that we lost. Lucky for us, we didn't lose much time since the Blaine fight, and the second try went off without a hitch. We finish up Silphco using Earthquake on Jesse and James, and then Pikachu with Protect and Zippy Zap for Giovanni's Persian, Vileplume for Rhyhorn, and Kadabra for Nidoqueen. Now that Saffron Gym is open, we take on Sabrina using Sludge Bomb from Vileplume for Mr. Mime, and then Shadow Ball from Kadabra for everything else. 7 badges down, 1 to go. The final gym was pretty easy, just use super effective moves against Nidorino, Rhyhorn, Nidoking, and Graveler. Giovanni leads a Dugtrio that has Sucker Punch, so I KO it with my own Sucker Punch before taking out the rest of the team with Kadabra and Vileplume. All we have left now is Victory Road and the Elite Four. Our rival stops us on our way to Victory Road, so we take him out with Pikachu, Kadabra, Vileplume, and Dugtrio. All 4 of the mandatory trainers in the cave go down without issue, and we even pulled off a pretty neat trick to skip a 5th trainer. Finally, we made it to Indigo Plateau. Pokemon Let's Go started the trend of allowing the player to access their PC from their bag rather than from a Pokemon Center. So we decided to ban that while we were in the Elite Four. What we have going in is what we're going to use for the entire Pokemon League. We did some final theory crafting, grabbed a Jinx and Ice Beam from Seafoam, and did a last bit of grinding and rare candy hunting to make the perfect team. We definitely spent way too much time going over our strategies, but finally we felt confident and stepped into the first room. Lorelai's up first. We Zippy Zap her Dugong to avoid Aqua Jet and Ice Shard, Earthquake the Jinx, Thunderbolt the Cloyster, Zippy Zap the Lapras, and Thunderbolt the Slowbro. Next up is Bruno. Bruno's Onix goes down to Earthquake and Hitmonlee dies to Zippy Zap, which we needed to do since it has Faint. Kadabra cleans up the rest of the team with its Psychic, and we're officially halfway through the Elite Four. 3 battles left. Agatha and her team, totally full of ghosts, is a clean sweep with Kadabra's Psychic and Pikachu's Zippy Zap to avoid Golbat's Quick Attack. Lance and his team of definitely all dragons comes out next and crumbles next to Pikachu. Except for the Dragonite. Dragonite's a bulky son of a gun, but that's why we got our girl Jinx in the back. We help Lance chill out a bit and finish off the fight with an Ice Beam. 1 final trainer left to go. Believe it or not, our rival became champion somehow, considering he couldn't even deal damage to us during our journey, but whatever. In his defense, this was probably the most complex fight of the entire Pokemon League, so we had to play perfectly. Pikachu Zippy Zaps the Mega Pidgeot, and we switch to Kadabra to Psychic the Vileplume. Next up is Rapidash, who we take out with Dugtrio's Earthquake, and Pikachu's Thunderbolt takes out the Slowbro. Vileplume's Mega Drain just barely KOs the Marowak, and we're down to the final Pokemon, Jolteon. Poetically, we use our Pikachu. It all comes down to this: starter versus starter. We select our move, and just kidding. Pikachu used Dig, and the Jolteon could do nothing but sit and wait to be fainted. And that was it. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu without taking any damage. We finished up the run in a little over 12 hours of real time and about 9.5 hours of game time, given the resets that we had to do. This challenge was super rewarding, and I'm really glad that I was able to complete it. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to subscribe, as I really enjoyed making it and would love to do more challenge runs like this. You can also find a link to my Twitch down in the description, which you should follow if you want to join the chat when I do these things in the future. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you all next time.